How do you determine, or how do you work or understand low tone and vision? Okay, it's actually kind of easy. First of all, any child that is more so not developmentally delayed but globally delayed, you have to look at vision, but you also have to understand what you're doing. You have to understand that your child needs to be examined for, in a sense, glasses. You need a sphere, cylinder, and an axis, and this is called a retinoscopy. It's a manual. Any child under 5 should have a manual retinoscopy. You don't understand how much you're doing, like, look at this, look at this, look at the ball. You know, I mean, you're so prompting a child to see, and if you're prompting a child to see, they can't see, right? Because vision just happens. I could sit there with I hate to say this, a typical child, and just be going that, and they don't miss a trick. If they do, I look into it, right? But when your child has issues with binocular vision, do the eyes work together? Convergence, do they then work together and converge? Because convergence is not only vision, it's our fine motor skills and our gross motor skills. How? Well, how do you think you learn how to catch a ball and throw a ball at first? You're converging your fine motor skills. You're bringing to midline first. You're bringing everything to midline, and then you can start crossing midline. A child that doesn't have visual convergence doesn't have convergence in the other, skills that they need to have. And then on top of that, they don't have an issue, or they do have an issue with, again, visually crossing midline because they can't physically cross midline. Vision and our other skills are synchronized. It's just what happens with babies. So when I see the vision separate from the skills, the fine and the gross motor skills, things that you're looking at, I already know, Houston, we have a problem. Right, so now you're asking this child to stand up. Well, guess what? When I can't see, low to the ground is good, right? When it's dark out and you have to go to the restroom in the middle of the night and it's dark, what do? Your hands go out, you take these little small steps because your brain's thinking there's a giant hole in the floor that you're gonna fall into. And even though you know your space and you go around, but especially when you're in a new space. But a child who is visually impaired, first of all, you want a child to stand. If they can't cross a visual midline like this, you try and stand up. So everybody just get up and you realize how much your vision is, whether I go to you like this or from you, right? I have binocular vision. I have convergence. Right? All these skills come into play. Now, this is harder to do, so it's easier for you guys to cross your eyes. Cross your eyes and now go to get up, right? You start thinking about it. Did you lose your strength? No, your body's going like, yo, you want me to I can handle maybe this sitting up. I can handle this. Now, again, I can be a little bit different and go non-binocular vision. So I'm going to bring my eyes apart, and then I'm even going to go for a hyperopia, right? So I've got uneven, right? For me to get up, and do this. Now, again, when I come to you and when I come back, so I might sit here literally like this and try and figure out which eye I can see you with, right? My movements, my fine and gross motor skills get to about this here. I lose my momentum, I lose my skills, right? Is that a low tone issue? No, I can't see. So when you're asking your child to sit there, and again, if you've noticed too, again, cross your eyes and go to get up, you'll feel your feet pronate. So when I see also a child that can't cross a visual midline and the feet are just like, because they're trying to push a person off the ground. When I go to get up, like again, put your feet down and now just push with all your might with your feet into the ground. This doesn't get you up, folks. So when you have a child, right, and by the way, I can't be strong enough. Now, I go to the gym. Right now, I'm doing leg presses at 300 pounds, right? I'm a strong woman. If I'm just pushing my feet into the ground and so forth, again, not putting my head over my system, you are not strong enough. So again, is this a low tone issue or is this just a structure issue? Have to do with vision and it has to do with your skeletal system. So you can't ask your child to be stronger than they just can't be stronger, right? Does that make sense? Like, I get so much like these kids need core strength. No, first of all, if you're sitting there, your kid needs core strength. I can tell you right now, you have all these vision issues. You've got to work on the vision. And it's the hardest thing to do because guess what, guys? Nobody told you that you'd have to teach your kid how to see. And this is where those problems come in, right? Development's supposed to be a requirement. Your kid just walks. I can be on Candy Crush, whatever it is, and my kid's just walking. Well, you know what? More and more, that's just not happening. I can tell you right now, I think within 10 years from now, every family's going to have a child with special needs. That being said, catch it before with the newborn movement assessment. Your baby should be assessed for movement and development from the day they're born. You can do it here, but they don't do it anywhere else, right? And so when people say your baby's going to be fine, and now you're coming to me at 2 and you want me to fix the feet, I'm telling you, right? I know I think different. I say things different anywhere that you've said, but guess what? Me thinking different is what you need to get yourself help. So to sit there and tell me you have a vision report from 2019, and this is, I'm not giving you a hard time, and it's now 2023, the doctors have slipped through and have not helped your child. It's not about you. You don't know better. But there's nowhere in what you're giving me that your child's had a proper visual examination. The one that has a semblance to it, you should have been in a patching program. You should have known how your daughter's vision is affecting her fine motor skills, her gross motor skills, her developmental skills, her global delays, because you can also see the lack of convergence and depth perception because Lily, she gets up and she runs to the carpet. She feels like she's falling. You're asking her to walk, and to her walking is like walking across the Grand Canyon. So she's going to an area of safety and you're trying to pull her off. I get it. It shouldn't be an area of safety, but you're asking her to bypass, I can't see. You're asking her to bypass, I don't know how to move in space because I can't see. And so right now, you've got to call, like I've said, you've got to call and you need a retinoscopy at your October examination. If they say we don't do it, we don't know what it is, then you start calling around and find out who can do it. Right? Because not all pediatricians or pediatric ophthalmologists are working with special needs. But I can tell you right now, what you don't realize is how many doctors are saying, oh, your kid's special needs, what'd you expect? I expect my kid to be able to see. And if they can't see, what are you going to do about it? This is your profession. It has nothing to do with my child being special needs. I actually told someone recently, because they were going to a doctor, I said, I wouldn't tell them what the diagnosis is. Just go in, fresh set of eyes. I don't know what's going on. We're looking into something. Because again, lots of times too, like my son, he got his autism diagnosis. You know, he almost died from massive infections and big ones. I mean, we've had Haemophilus influenza staph. We have staph again right now. We've been sepsis. We've been preseptal cellulitis. I mean, I've been spending years trying to keep my son alive because of infections. You don't get infections from autism, right? So, but every time I went in and when he was young, he's sick. Oh, but he's autistic. Two separate issues. And I got this from National Jewish. So, you know what I mean? Sinus and chronic lung specialist in the world. And he walks in, he goes, your kid's autistic. He had a nasal polyp and mucosal ball, never was examined because my son was autistic. Went to Denver and had to come home. So I'm telling you folks, I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer. But when you're coming to me for help, I'm going to give you help. But I know it's different words, and I'm not trying to get you to fight it, but you're not getting help the way you've been doing it. And this is specifically for Shivali's review with her daughter. But your daughter is really, you're seeing low tone. The low tone, everything that you're seeing in her case is from her vision. So any child, first of all, low tone, high tone, those are just symptoms. You've got to find out where the symptoms are coming from. And a lot of people think, oh, it was trauma or genetics. Guys, lots of times it's really just the vision. A baby, a child in development is not going to do anything that's going to be difficult or that hurts them. It's the same vocabulary. It means they're not doing it. I wake up, my back hurts. You're still saying, where's my Facebook Live reviews? I need to come to work, right? I have to see my clients. That's different. I am a grown adult. Children don't work like this. So when children aren't developing, lots of times because they're not even available in their own bodies, and we've got to find out why. And so really, lots of times too, you're thinking it's low tone, and I'm telling you half the time it's vision related, and the eyes are muscles. So again, if you have any kind of neurological condition, neuromuscular, really the eyes should be your dominant factor, but they still have to be examined properly. It's just like hiring a plumber, a lawyer, and no two people are the same, and you're going to go with recommendations. You're going to, it might take a little bit of work. Just don't open up the yellow pages. Sorry, I'm showing my age there. Don't just Google and find, just the first person there. And they might be amazing, but what you're looking for is a retinoscopy. So if you have these problems, we've got to rule out the visual component. And please don't be like, well, I don't want my child to wear glasses. Can we have the examination first and we can worry about that next? And go from there. But right now, what you need is a plan on how to help your child and so forth. But if you think that your child's going to develop from the feet, this is why you've been struggling, and now she's really going into areas of development that you are having trouble supporting and you needed the help with, and this is the way you go about it. Thanks.